Alright guys, we made it to our destination. We're here in the Catskills, one of my favorite spots. I used to hunt this area a lot when I was younger. And this is the Willowemoc Creek. It's one of the best fly fishing streams for trout in the country. Actually, it's really good trout fishing. You can see how clean the water is. Super clear water. It's the Willowemoc Creek. Look at how beautiful that water is, guys. Super clear. Comes right out of the mountains. Beautiful. This is where all the trout are. In about a month or so, this place will be crowded with fishermen trying to catch themselves a trout. So yeah, it's a beautiful area here. I'll just show you guys a little more of the river in case you're not from New York, so you can see what it looks like. It's just a little stream, but it's a really good fishing stream here. And yeah, so pretty cool. Bet that water's ice cold now. Alright guys, stay tuned. Alright guys, we made it to our destination here. This is my possible bug out area. One of the possible bug out areas, but it's the Catskill Mountains here. Very secluded area. Nothing here but mountains and wilderness. Up out there, those mountains in the back that you guys see, that's a wilderness area. So it's only very limited use that you can, things that you can do over there. Pretty much just hunting and backcountry camping. There's no ATVs, there's no roads, there's nothing. It's just wilderness. It's like 150,000 acres of wilderness. All right, so this is an area that a lot of people don't know about. That's why I like it. So some of these mountains you see in the back, they're pretty tall for New York standards. They're about 3,000 to 4,000 foot in elevation. Right now I'm probably around 3,000 feet in elevation, so fairly high up here. And a lot of big bears around here. I saw some huge bear scat a couple of years ago, right in those woods right there. I saw some giant bear scat and like a little bear den, so maybe we'll see a bear. But yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated as my journey progresses, so stay tuned. What's going on, guys? It's New York Prepper here, and we arrived to our potential bug out area. We're just gonna do some camping here today, build a little fire. Beautiful secluded woods all around, surrounded by wilderness here in the Catskills. You can see the forest behind me. There's a nice little stream over here. A lot of water in this area. All right, very secluded area, guys. Very secluded. Not many people here at all. No cell signal. There's no cell signal at all. So I'm about to build a fire now, and we're just gonna hang out, and I may take a couple of shots with my pistol. So I'll try to get that on film for you guys if I have time. I don't know if I'll be able to, but let's just look at some of this beautiful scenery here. Just look at all this mountain water coming right off the mountains. There's nothing back there. There's no houses. There's nothing but wilderness, surrounded by probably like 150,000 acres of wilderness in just this area, and there's even more all around. So there's no people for miles. Nothing but bears and coyotes here, and some deer. But you can see the beautiful hemlock trees, which are very common here in the Catskills. It's a mixture of hemlocks and birch. A lot of birch trees around. So it's definitely a good for starting fires. You could use the birch bark to start a fire. And there's actually just a red squirrel that ran up that little hemlock. He's watching us. I don't know if you guys can see that right on that tree there. There's a little red squirrel ran down the tree. Look at him. Look at that little red squirrel. He's burying his little acorns or whatever the heck he's burying. He's looking at us right now in the tree. Pretty cool. So this is what our campsite looks like here. Got this little fire pit. I got some wood that I'm about to process. About to start my little fire here, and you know, I got some wood I got to break down and make into kindling. So stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. All right, guys. I'm about to start the fire. I got some fine tinder here. I broke down some pine, very fine pine branches from hemlocks. I broke them down into these little pieces here, and I'm gonna light a cotton ball, and then from there I got some sticks there, and then I got some kindling I got at the gas station. So we'll get this fire going, and look at this beautiful scenery here, guys. Beautiful. This is possible bug out location. This is where I would go if there's a last resort. I'd bring all my supplies here, like I said. Just want to show you the water here. It's crystal clear water. Look at that water, guys. Crystal clear. The sound of that water is just so soothing to the ears. On. What's going on, guys? So I'll show you what I'm going to use to start the fire here. I got my fire steel, and I have this paracord. I think you guys may have seen it before. And I have a striker here tied to the fire steel. All right. This is a nice big fire steel, so there's plenty of spark. I can light probably 1,000,000 fires with this. All right. And I use this striker rod because it's a little more it's better than using your knife. And then here I just have this container with cotton balls inside. I probably got like 50 cotton balls, so I'm gonna light the cotton ball and we'll get this fire going. You can film it if you want. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got more of the small ones. Alright guys, so we got the fire going. You can see it's burning. Alright. Took a little tenderness in the beginning because the wood is a little bit wet around here. It's March and all the snow thawed out, so a lot of the wood was wet, but got the fire going. Wanted to just show you how I carry this here, my fire steel. I keep it in my knife pouch here. I have a separate pouch for my fire steel right on the side. Okay, so I'll just show you how I keep this conveniently located on my hip, okay? Keep this conveniently located right here next to my knife. All right, this is how I have it set up for wilderness survival. All right, so I just put my fire steel right in here, and my knife, which you guys have seen before, but if you haven't seen it, this is my knife. Okay, I always keep it on my weak side, just in case my strong side gets compromised for whatever reason. I have it on my weak side. All right, so for my weak side is my left hand. Here I have my pistol, 44 mag, in case you guys haven't seen that before. It's loaded with some 220 grain penetrators because we're in bear country. So that's my loadout. That's my wilderness loadout. I always carry that. I always carry this knife the way it's set up anytime I'm in the woods, and I always carry my pistol like that as well. Slowly building up the fire, guys. As you see, I'm a big believer in the teepee style fire. I just put sticks on top, let it burn. You know, you want to pile the sticks up like a teepee, so this way it slowly burns from the bottom. And what happens with the teepee fire is that the hot coals are at the bottom of the fire underneath the flame, and the sticks on top, the fuel that you put on top of the fire, keeps the core of the fire, the coals, keeps them dry and breaks the wind also, because you're piling the fuel on top of the coals, so it creates like a natural, you know, a natural protection against the wind and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put this big piece of kindling on soon. Just gonna throw a few more sticks first, but fire's going good, guys. It was a little slow in the beginning because it's a little moist. Everything's a little moist here, but you know, once we got it going, you know, all I did was use cotton balls. That's it, cotton balls and whatever I found in nature. You know, I believe cotton balls are the best fire starter, as long as you keep the cotton balls dry. Like as you see, I have it in that little pill bottle there. It's a vitamin C container, keeps the cotton dry. It takes the spark very easily. Okay, so that's my tip to you guys. I'm a big believer in cotton balls, all right, for starting a fire. Even better, I think cotton balls by themselves are actually better than cotton balls with Vaseline, because the Vaseline, it's harder to catch a spark. But if you just have the pure cotton ball by itself, it'll catch a spark much easier. Obviously the cotton ball is going to burn out a lot quicker, but you know, it's as long as you have some fine tinder, you know, it's not tinder, you have tinder besides the cotton ball itself is the tinder, but you have to have some other small sticks and things that will continue the fire. So you just have to do that. But just wanted to show you guys the progress here, and I'll keep you guys posted of our trip and how things go. And I'll see if I can pop off a shot with my 44 before it gets dark. There's actually still some snow and ice and stuff like that. As you can see down there, there's some snow over there still that didn't fully melt. So supposed to go down into the teens tonight. We're not going to stay here. We're not sleeping over. We're just going to stay here at night and just chill out, have some snacks, and that's pretty much it. So alright guys, I just wanted to show you something important that you should have with you. Anytime you go into the wilderness, you should always have some wool, okay? Wool, even in the summertime. Got some stuff here. Even in the summertime, you want to have wool, okay? This shirt that I'm wearing is 100% wool. And even if it's summertime, wool is, you know, unless it's like really hot outside, wool is the best. And especially like if you're tending to a fire like I am now,
you're tending to a fire, you know, the wool is naturally fire retardant. So if I get a hot spark on my shirt or something, it's not going to catch fire like cotton or polyesters. So that's why wool is preferred for the wilderness. It also is naturally water resistant, and it can stay warm even when it's wet. It can stay warm. Okay, so always get yourself some wool. All right, even if you get like a lighter wool, it doesn't have like this shirt here. This is like a light wool. It's very thin. This is more for like fall, spring, and summer. And then I have heavier wool that I wear in the winter time. So just wanted to give you guys that little tip. All right, guys. Getting ready to boil some eggs. Eggs are always a very good source of protein and good healthy cholesterol. Gonna drop a couple in there for me and the lady. I'm gonna have some whites and some whole eggs as well. So we got, what do we got? 4, 6. Oh, it's overfilling a little here. Got our eggs ready to go. So yeah. All right, guys, I want to show you another trick. All right, I got these long branches here. You see this branch? All right, a lot of guys, I mean, this is easy. I could break this. But if it was a thicker branch and you don't have an axe or some type of a chopping tool, you can just burn it in half. All right, there's a lot of guys out there that, you know, they feel that you need to have an axe in order to survive in the woods, and that's just not true. An axe is a luxury. It's not a necessity. A necessity is a fixed blade knife. A fixed blade knife with at least a 4-inch blade. That's a necessity, but you don't need an axe. You don't need a chopping tool. You can literally burn a log in half. And I have this branch here that I'm gonna burn in half, all right? So I don't have to actually split it, so you guys can see how that works. But if you have a bigger log, you know, something that's like 4 or 5 inches in diameter, you can just put it on your fire and it'll burn itself in half. You don't need to be chopping anything and making all kinds of noise and carrying an extra 3-4 pounds of dead weight around with you, you know. So use your brain, okay? Don't haul around, you know, pounds and pounds of tools, you know, because in a real survival situation, all that weight is going to wear you down, and you're going to burn calories carrying that axe everywhere you go. You just don't really need it, you know. Wow, it's a little poppy fire. The fire's popping. I got my eggs over there in my canteen, and I'm going to boil them soon. So just wanted to show you that little trick. All right, guys, it's getting dark now, so I want to grab a little bit more wood before it gets dark. So I'm just venturing out into the wilderness here, trying to find some any kind of wood I can find. When you're looking for wood in the forest, you want to find something that's elevated off the ground, so this way it has some dry. Like this one here, this is elevated. You can check it by breaking it, you know, like this piece right here. This is a good piece because it's elevated, so it's dry. You can check it by breaking the branches to see how dry it is. And you hear how when I crack it, it makes a nice, you know, popping sound. That means it's dry, okay? I'm just gonna go and search for some wood around here and you know, feed the fire, keep the fire going nice and big, because temperature's falling. It's supposed to be 15 degrees here tonight, so temperature's dropping rapidly. So just gonna search for some more wood out here in the wilderness. All right, guys, I got the fire roaring. Here. The forest ranger would not be happy with this fire. He would say that that's too high. But you see all the sparks coming out of the fire? That's why you want to wear wool. If you don't have a wool jacket or anything, then you should at least have a wool blanket so you can cover yourself. so those sparks don't melt a hole in your clothing. You can see the sun is setting. It's going to be pitch black here very soon. Hope maybe we'll see a Bigfoot. I don't know. But another tip I wanted to show you guys is when you're tending to a fire, you should never face the fire directly. So if you're feeding the fire with more wood, or you have to move things around and poke the fire a little bit, you don't want to face it. You don't want to, face it straight on, because if something happens, if let's say the fire pops and there's, some kind of a, spark ejection, or you could burn your eyes, you can get blinded. So anytime I tend to a fire, what I do is I keep my head turned away. All right, so if something happens, it's going to hit me on the side, it's going to hit me on my temple and on my ear, rather than hitting me right in my face and burning my eyes. All right, because fires can explode if there's some kind of moisture inside the wood, and that moisture builds up and it pops, it explodes inside the wood, and the sparks can come out and burn your face. You can go blind even. So so basically, never look the fire straight on. Always tilt your head to the side and use your peripheral vision when you're poking the fire. Anytime I'm out here in the woods and it's dark like this, I always wonder if there's something watching me in the woods, in the dark, Bigfoot or some kind of scary animal. Actually, no, I'm just kidding, guys, but there have been a lot of Bigfoot sightings in the Catskills. Over the years, people have been, chased by Bigfoots. There's been a lot of scary stories with hunters in this area, not too far from where I am. There's been a couple of pretty credible sightings of a hunter being followed by something in the woods and having rocks thrown at him, actually, like large rocks being thrown at him. And you can look that up online. I'll put a link in the description box below so you guys can read it. It's pretty eerie, pretty scary, but basically the guy was hunting by himself. Deer hunting, that's a big thing up here. Deer and bear, that's the main hunting that takes place in this area. And he was hunting by himself in a very remote location, kind of like here. And he heard something in the woods following him, like footsteps. He thought it was another hunter, but it wasn't, because he tried to call out and nobody responded. And so he kind of got freaked out and he started walking back to his car, back to the parking lot, and he noticed that it was following him. And then at some point there were rocks being thrown at him, like pretty large rocks. So he said that he just pretty much started running full speed at that point. But it makes me wonder, what's out here. But if there's anything out here, it's going to get a 220 grain solid copper penetrator right to the chest, or a 6-inch survival knife, either one. And if that doesn't work, my bare hands, 250 pounds of Polish power. It's a force to be reckoned with. So, but I always, when I go out here in the woods, I always try to think of myself as a force. I'm a force to be reckoned with. If there's any bears or Bigfoot, I like to think of myself as something that they should be afraid of, not me being afraid of them, and that's just my mentality, and that keeps me from getting afraid. Like a lot of people get scared of the woods at night. I don't get scared at all, because I know I'm a force to be reckoned with. So I encourage you guys to adopt the same mentality. All right, guys, we got my eggs over here in the canteen, and the fire's roaring. I want to show you how useful a thermal is in self-defense scenarios. So as you can see, it's pitch black out here. I'll show you. You can't see anything. I'll turn my light on so you guys can see. This is just my flashlight here, but you know, I'll show you how a thermal can really open up your eyes to what's around you. You know, even a flashlight doesn't work as good as a thermal. So I'll show you guys right now how the thermal works. It'll really open your eyes to what's around you. So, I mean, you could see the river back there through the thermal, and you know, you can scan your surroundings. You could see if there's any, you know, unusual heat sources nearby. I've shown you guys my thermal, so let's just scan and see if there's any bears or anything watching me from the woods. Let's see if I can focus the camera on the thermal here. Why is that working? There we go. Trying to focus it. There we go. Alright, so it's a little bit, the camera doesn't really pick it up well, but you can see there's nothing around me. There's no, those two hot spots are just some stones. You can really see the woods come alive with the thermal, you know. So the thermal is really useful. Here's the roadway. You know, without the thermal it's pitch black, but as you can see with the thermal I can see pretty much everything. There's no hiding. Alright, here's my fire. Let me stand back. But yeah, everything is clear, and you know, so thermal's a very useful tool, guys. Very useful for survival. Very, very good tool. So yeah, everything is clear. There's no Bigfoots right now, but if I see any Bigfoots, I'll try to get it on film with the thermal here. If my camera can focus. There we go. It's a little blurry now. If I see any Bigfoots or anything, I'll let you guys know. Alright guys. Alright guys, got another tip for you. I think a lot of people underestimate the importance of having a good leather glove, or a pair of good solid leather gloves with reinforced palms. And the reason why is if you have to move a hot canteen out of a fire or touch something hot, the leather is not going to melt, okay? If you have tactical gloves, like, you know, any kind of mechanics gloves or something like that, it could potentially melt because you have polyester fabrics, but leather is not going to melt, okay? So leather gloves are essential, all right, for survival and even for your bug out bag. Make sure you have a pair of leather gloves or something that's heat resistant, okay? If it's not leather, it should be rated for heat, okay? So very important tip. All right guys. All right guys, we're leaving now. Leaving our bug out spot. We made our eggs, and we're leaving now. You can see it's extremely secluded here. There's nobody around, just a dirt road with forest all around us. But if you're in an area like this, you definitely need to have the proper supplies. You know, you need the right gear to be able to make it out here long term. So, you know, if you're gonna go out to a place like this to bug out, or even just to camp, you want to make sure you have, you know, especially medical gear. Also protection is important, so that's critical, guys. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 P's: prepare, practice, and persevere.